You're listening to the SKYLIT Books podcast. We're an independent, general interest bookstore putting great reads in the hands of people in the Los Feliz neighborhood of Los Angeles. Hosted by resident Skylighters, we're here to bring you new and exciting author conversations, group reads, and bookseller chats. Happy listening.
Hello, my beautiful listeners, and welcome to SKYLIT. This is the SKYLIT Books podcast, and I'm your host, Lance Morgan. Today, I'm so excited to welcome Safari Blake to talk about her book of poetry, Lord Expose Me. Safari, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. It's actually a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure for us too. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. You're out and you're outside. Listeners can't see, but it looks gorgeous outside today.
Yes, so it's pretty sunny outside. I'm on a rooftop, and yes,
No, I mean
LA
it looks
is
like
getting back to summertime.
it looks like a great day to be outside. So I mean, you picked a great spot to record today.
Thank you.
So you have a reading for us today?
Yes, I'm just going to. It's something I recited. And just to give you a backstory, they didn't have a backstory about this poem. So my poem deals with personal traumas. It deals with experiences. It deals with spirituality. I come from a Christian background, and so much has transitioned. So there's a lot of it that intertwined that got me here. And it writing allowed me to basically express everything that was hidden beyond skin deep.
Right. Isn't that, I mean, that's the beauty of it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll let you take away with your reading.
Yeah. So this one, actually, as I'm talking to you, I'm gonna do. It might be triggering for some people, but here it goes. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. When you remain in silence, you're considered normal. But when you decide to speak and to speak up, everyone thinks something is wrong. What's wrong with speaking, especially if it's something that needs to be said or heard? It's too often we look to the left and to the right before saying what's in our hearts, what's in our minds. We become so consumed with our thoughts and opinions. We look to others for insight, but deep down, our inner man wants to scream, wants to say something that will inspire others, but instead, we choose to remain silent. Speak. Speak. Speak like your life depends on it, as if you're screaming from the tombs of a graveyard buried alive. Many times we choose to remain silent because we don't want to wake the dead. The things that have been forgotten, buried, things left unsaid. Shh. Is what he told me as if he's telling me a bedtime story. His cold interlocked grip says he forcibly kisses my rough lips. Wrinkled like prunes from dried salty tears, scared the thrusting back and forth as I laid stiff. The closed eyes hoping I'll disappear, but I opened to a satisfied glare. As he saw me, I saw me through his eyes, the identity that held on to me like skin I've yet to shed. He was my kin. Like things never said, the incident was left behind, like belly to spine, an abandoned dream, lost in time. As time passes, loosely became this and that guy. What took place was disguised in my lifestyle. So what's worse? Finally having the courage to tell the secret, or after telling the secret, someone told you to? Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna buy you a mockingbird. My own thoughts pecking, taunting my daydream, gnawed at my flesh like zombies. I was awake to life, but died to its pleasure. Secret silence seems so innocent, but sometimes leave me feeling worthless. I blame me for this. It happened so long ago, just live your life and move on. But as I'm writing, I'm digging up dirt like an archaeologist, excavating ruins, ill-infectious wounds, hidden hurt, truths. Rape happens in approximately 1 in 5 women and about 1 in 10 men. Woe to me and woe to you, but realize you're loved, you're beautiful. Though the damage has been done, what's your drug of choice? Denial, hoping the memories would fade and escape me. In all honesty, I apologize. I've borrowed your lips without you knowing with descriptive snapshots of your thoughts to tell your stories. Many go on with balls and chains called memories, make it difficult to move on for something like that. How can you not blame God? It's sad that we believe him only to blame him, even after we've been hurt, violated, dare to trust him. Where my voice ends, speak, start conversing, and start your process of healing.
Wow,
Thank
that was so powerful to hear. Oh my God, I could have I could have gone on listening for another 10 minutes. I mean, and when he started singing too, I was just like, oh my God, I wasn't the surprise I had from that was just so uplifting. Um,
Ah,
thank you for that. Thank you for that treat. I feel like a lot of times with authors we get, I mean, some great readings from that, but like that felt like, a new for us way of having our guest author, let us see their work in that way. So thank
mhm.
you. I appreciate that.
Thank
Um,
you.
no problem, no problem. So I want to talk about first the backstory of this. And I mean, your backstory is you have a very interesting backstory.
I do.
I mean, we were talking a little bit about it earlier, but you could you talk about your like own upbringing and the path that led to this?
Oh gosh, I don't know where to start. So, since people don't know me, and you'll get to know me, so it's I was born in Jamaica, and I'm one of 10 siblings. Yes,
Wow.
and so all we immigrated to the U.S. like five at a time, like the sections. It's a whole lot of story because I had a
Yeah.
trauma with that part. I had a poem about that because yeah, that's a whole nother story. Um, but coming to I don't know, people understand like coming to America is a whole different ball game. It's a whole different system, especially growing up when I was younger. And I don't know. I never used to write. That's the funny thing. Like I was more of a science and math person,
Hmm.
and thought like writing gave me anxiety when I was younger. Like I would overthink things and be like, "Oh my god, all my thoughts are gonna be on this paper." Like so, I used to overthink a lot, and I probably still do. When it comes to writing, I it gave me anxiety because it's creating from nothing, and usually with numbers. You have an objective answer with, we deal with math, the answer is there. 2 plus 2 is 4. But when you're writing is 4, it's more of creating from nothing. And so for me, it gave me anxiety not knowing where it would go, things of that sort. But it was not until after college, like in the like towards the ending of my college year, probably like senior year, I used to just write thoughts on like Facebook notes. And then it wasn't after it was I didn't take it seriously. I just thought it was just me like just writing my thoughts. I didn't think I was gonna be an author one day. And then after college, I then decided to become serious about my faith. And I was like, you know what? Let me see how. And then after I became serious, like I'm not serious, I would say more committed. Then the writing started to flow. I would get writings from when I'm sleeping, poems would come, different inspiration through different life experiences. I did a play. After doing the play, a poem came to me as I was driving home, and I had to pull over and finish the poems. So that's how everything started flooding my thoughts. And I just had to get things on paper. And as I'm getting things on paper, it's just starting putting myself, my trauma, or I don't want to say like I'm claiming it. It's just an experience that I've experienced and what meaning I gave to them. And so it definitely brought about exposure with myself and anything else. And I realized with vulnerability, it also makes it comfortable for others to expose themselves because there's so many times we want to put up guards and things of that sort. And in a nutshell, writing is simply stripping me down. And in today's society, we all can strip, but at the same time, who is willing to really expose himself emotionally? Um, so that's another level of exposure. And so it's just that's where I pretty much started. And so yeah, so it's just been a growth for me in a sense. So this is going to be one of many books.
And I mean, even from what you're saying, it sounds like, the spirit of writing was like something that was bigger than you in some way. It kind of came to you
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And I feel like you talk about in your book in like terms of spirituality too, right?
Yes.
You want to go into give us a little background on that too?
So my background is being a Christian. I know that's so broad. People are like, what sect? You know? And SECT. And so, and for me, it was more of a non-denominational, Holy Ghost believing background. And I won't lie, because for this past year, I've gone through so many changes, and some of the things that I've gone through, it's so weird. Like you're gonna edit this out, but when I was as I was reading the book, I guess my understanding of God starts to shift as I'm writing the book. I should say my understanding of God was shifting, and I wanted to delete some things. Like, wow, I sound so preachy on some sense. I sound like or whatever. But I left a lot of things in the book because life is a journey. That's what I'm learning. Because everything that has happened led me to be here. So I can't cut anything out per se and say, take this out, trying to make it seem as if I just climbed up the entire mountain by myself or
Mm.
the staircase without the stairs. So my spiritual background, yes, as a Christian in that sense has helped me. And even where I'm now with that belief system has transformed. I'm gonna say, because a lot of things I'm unlearning when it comes to having faith, when it comes to growing spiritually. Because a lot of times we're so confined to what church is, we still haven't tapped into a true spiritual sense. And so I don't want to confine my belief system to just a building of a church or and I just yeah, so as I've been reading more, it's just understanding what's an allegory in the Bible and what's this. And so many times people are preaching this is this and that's that, but sometimes it's an analogy sometimes, and then we take on things and we run with it. So for me, it's definitely getting a better understanding of what I'm believing and what I'm living, and
Mm.
not just take on what other people are saying. And so for a while, I'm like, I wouldn't call myself a Christian. Let me figure out this. Let me find this step. And so for me, it's simply I'm just growing spiritually. That's where I am right now. And
And
I don't want to negate anyone's growth process because
mhm.
everyone has their own journey. And so that's just my journey and what has brought me or led me here.
And do you think, writing this has helped you move along in this journey too? Like after, getting all the words out on paper and, as you said, you read through it too. Do you think like you've become either a more spiritual person or a different spiritual person now?
So for me, I can't say more or different. It's just a more, I've come to understand that can I curse on this thing?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Go for it.
No, everyone's like, listen. No, but for me, it's getting to, because so many times you grow up, you think you know everything. Not that you know
Yeah.
everything, but it's like sometimes when it's preached to you, like this is the answer. We know everything. And to so many, as you're growing in life, you realize you don't have the answer, and it's okay that you don't know shit. It's okay to say you don't know, and then you're discovering, because life is about discovering.
Yeah.
And so, and what I guess one of the essential points that I missed was um, a lot of times people are taught how to look to someone else, look for something else to empower you, look for this, look for that. And rarely are we taught the greatness that's within us. Rarely are we taught to tap into what's within. And so, and I even go back to like, because I do point the scripture sometimes, like, wait, let me sift through, like, let me get to understand this. And it's just more like, what does Christ said? What does other people say about what was poetry? What was this? Because it does have poetry and things of that sort. And so for me, it's just more like, yeah, we're called to be gods. We're not chauvinistic, egotistical people, in a
Hmm.
sense of, but there's greatness within us, and we have to start using that in a more productive manner. So
Hmm.
that's where I am right now. It's discovery. me, the greatness within me, and even the book, The Alchemist. Like, you know how people read that book, and it's just like he did all the journey, whatever. Everything he was looking for was right there. And so it's like the whole point of life is everything you need, you have it. It's within you, and it's just life is just discovering it. Like, and so that's where I am in life right now, is discovering the greatness in me.
I mean, that's such a big important part of life. You know, we're always discovering, we're always moving through that. We're just changing, ever changing and ever moving. And I mean, I love that that's a part of your book too. That's so important. And another, I mean, as we said, we're from similar. I mean, we're both from Connecticut, from a Jamaican background, and from a lot of, you know, it's a community, a religious background. Can you talk about how like that community, also influenced this book as well?
You repeat that sentence? I think you went out.
Oh yeah, no problem. Give me 1 second. Um, so yeah, so uh, can you talk about, because from in we're from similar we have a lot of similarities, which is interesting too, which we found out from this. We're both from Connecticut, a Jamaican background, a religious background too. Can you talk about that in that, like, how the community, both shaped this book and shaped your background too, to get you towards the eventuality of writing this?
Yeah, because some of this within the background, and just to give you a summary of what background means. I mean, I've gone to different churches, so it's not like I've been in one church for the past 30 years, 20 years,
Right. Hmm.
Um, so it's just more of on a general, just to say generally, it has taught me one, fasting. I laugh because this one church I went to, like every other week, I think we were fasting. But it taught me fasting, and it's funny because in the midst of fasting, there's several poems that came out of this. Because I don't
Hmm.
remember moving a lot. I don't. I remember like fasting and just writing. I swear my laptop did not die. I would just like take a nap, roll over, and write. I would take a nap, roll over, and write. Like it was just there. And so that's one of the key things is fasting. I do pray. And even as I'm discovering like so many where I am now is just more of like that's important. And a lot of people are like, who are you praying to or who are you praying to, But honestly, speaking what you want into life, that's because we're creators. So it's like that's definitely essential for life. It also builds community in a
Yeah.
sense. Um, and I remember years ago, I was a youth leader. Oh, it was a pain. Sorry. It was an experience, I should say. And one thing I learned was people depend on either youth pastors or leaders, like they're depending on some powerful. I want to use the word God, but something more big. You know what I mean? Like we're looking
Yeah.
to instead of realizing that they're humans, not undermining a person. At the same time, it's like so many people are looking. It's like the pastor got to be a counselor. They have to be a preacher. They have to be a finance. It's like that's a lot of pressure, people. I think you're gonna need. I think you need therapy. So it's
Yeah.
just more of people need to understand. Like it's okay to see a therapist. It's okay
Yes.
to see a counselor. It's okay to talk about what you're going through. Not everything is a warfare. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's honest, it's being authentic with yourself and what you're going through in your situations. And then we can say what is what. Because so many times they want to jump to this is it. And it's like, no, he gets some healing from past traumas because so many people have past traumas they haven't dealt with. They pass it on to their kids pass on to their kids.
Hmm.
And so no one's really dealing whatever happened. It's like, oh, just cover it up and keep it within the family, whatever that means for
Right.
some people. So it's
Hmm.
about
I was gonna say, I mean, that's huge in the Jamaican community. I feel like, especially for older generations, to keep it
Yes.
bottled up and move on and not really look back. And I mean, for a lot of, I mean, it's also a big post-colonial black stories of like, you can't. The trauma is so big that like it's hard to look back at it. And I feel like we're part of a newer generation that's actually confronting that trauma because we've had enough, right?
Yeah, so it's good to I mean, I don't know how far you gotta go back, but I mean, it's
True. You know what? You're right. You're right. You're right.
what
There's too
happened
much
at
to go back to.
7? What happened at 8? You know what I mean? So, let's start with that. So it's before we take on like 400 years. I don't know,
Oh God,
but
I
I
don't know if
was
I
living in
could.
the country 400 years. I was in Jamaica, my whole roots, But but it's still the same dynamics. It's still branched off. So, but it's just but it's dealing with self before because everything stems from self.
Hmm.
Um, and so when it comes to trauma, it may be something that happened growing up because that forms our mindset as we grow older.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so with the Christian background definitely has grown me in the spiritual sense, like opened me to that spiritual, like there's a spiritual realm, for me. I don't want to make it seem because so many times people in a church can make it seem like God is just in a building, or and we put so much limitations, whether we know it or not. And it's like so many things can attribute to our growth in life.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so that's where I am right now. It's like different things have been like assistance to me in my life. Yeah.
Isn't that? I feel like that's what makes us. That's what makes us as people too. And I mean, do you think that that's? You think that you're trying to capture that in your book as well?
Yeah, so that's captured too in the poem I wrote to myself about just reclaiming your life. That turned into a poem.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm simply like a collector of thoughts. And I collect, I write, and even another poem where so one of my friends in college at the time, we all, when you graduate from college, everyone go their separate ways, meaning some people lived in New York, some in Connecticut, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm.
And so come to find out, like a couple months after college graduation, her sister died, right?
Oh wow.
So her
Yeah.
sister passed away, and I didn't hear about it till like weeks later. Someone called me, "Did you hear such and such?" I was like, "Oh my gosh," So I'm there trying to call her.
Hmm.
She's not picking up anyone's phone call, which is very understandable.
Yeah.
Um, and she's going through it. So I'm there trying to get to somebody to get to somebody to get to her, and I'm like, so I'm just trying to like, do you know her mom's number? Do you know her father's? Do you know what store does her father work at? Because he owns like a bodega. I'm like, let me try to get the name of the bodega. Trying to like, um, and so long story short, I ended up getting her mom's number. And then her mom was like, "Oh, thank you. Oh, it's such a pleasure that you're calling." I've never met her mom, but her mom always hear about me through my friend. And so she's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, yeah, Jackie would love for you to come." Um, and so I was like, "Sure, of course I'll be there." And then she's like, then I was like, I'm thinking it's like next week, the funeral. And so I was
Right.
like, "When's the funeral?" She's like, tomorrow." And I'm like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh." I already said yes, so yes, I'm coming. And
Yeah.
so being like a broke college student, just not even college student, broke graduate. Oh my gosh. Um, I was like, I'm still looking for a job. I'm like, I need gas for my car. I need this to go to New York. I have to drive 2 hours, whatever. Um, and so with doing all that, the wake was like 12 o'clock. It started at 12. So the wake was about 12 o'clock to about 8 p.m. So it's like 12. And I lived in Connecticut, which is about 2 hours away. So I'm like, okay, I'll leave at 10 a.m. Right?
Hmm.
I
Right.
left at 10 a.m. I didn't get there till almost 7:50, right? p.m.
Hmm.
And I left 10 a.m. and there was so much traffic going to New York. Then I was dating this guy at the time, which lived in Long Island, which is like 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes from where she was.
Yeah.
the wake was. So I was like, okay, let me swing by, see him, then we can just go together. But then we were on the highway. I was going there, so much traffic. By the time I picked him up, it was almost 5 o'clock. By the time we're going to the wake, somehow the GPS was avoiding highways. Oh my gosh. It was such a weird day that even though I started driving at 10 a.m., I didn't get to the wake until 8, like almost 7:58 p.m., like when it was about to end. And as I arrived, I was like, oh my God, let me see her quickly, right? And I arrived, I saw her quickly, and I gave her a hug, and she's like, she had glasses on, she had shades on, and she's like, how do I look? And I said, oh, you look like you were, studying for finals. Everyone knows she's crying, but, like you're studying for finals, you got to put a little humor. And she started chuckling. She's like, yeah. She's like, and she just showed me around to her people. The lights flickered. Basically, it ended like within 10 minutes or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next day was a burial. And so I woke up late again for the burial. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I missed all the cars. Like, who misses all the cars? You're supposed to go in line, follow all the cars. They go.
Right.
It's one thing like finding a cemetery, but you have to find the burial site. And so it was just, and it's like, where is it? Is it in New York? Is it in Jersey? It was just like, oh my gosh. And so finally found it. I arrived just to see the body going down into the grave, right?
Right.
And so I end up looking for her again. I'm like, where is she? Where is she? And I gave her a hug, and I started crying, and she started crying. And then she's like, I'm so sorry. I didn't check on, see how you came to New York. I'm like, don't worry. You have bigger concerns,
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, don't worry. Everything's fine. Da, da, da. She's like, okay, I'll call you later. So she went off with her family. I went hung out with some other friends. I'm at this other friend's house now. It's like 5 p.m. like later on, She
Right.
calls me, and she's like, I'm gonna thank you. Every time you showed up, you were on time. And I was like, what? I was like, she's like, every time you showed up, you were on time. And she's like, when you showed up for the week, she's like, I was being strong for everyone. But then and then she's like, God, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to go through the day, because she's just acknowledging that her sister passed,
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, that's when I couldn't be strong for myself anymore. That's when you gave me a hug. And then she's like, the next day, she's like, she's like, today, because she's talking about today. She's like, when you showed up for the wake, she's like, I felt like jumping into the grave with my sister. That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, the moment I was thinking about that, she's like, that's when you hugged me. And I was like, oh my gosh, because as I was trying to get there on time, people were texting me, other friends were texting me, are you here yet? Are you there yet? Are you here? We're waiting for you, Because on a superficial level, even though it's a funeral, you haven't seen people in a lot. So it's kind of like a mini reunion at the same time,
Yeah. There is that sense of support there too, because you're supported by everyone around you.
Exactly. And so that taught me about life. But I got a poem from that where it's just like, I don't want to read it out, but it taught me about, don't worry about the timing. Not everyone's timing is your timing. And you get there in the nick of time. And so many times you're wondering, when are we going to get this job promotion? When are we going to get there? When are we going to get the kids? When are we going to get the job? When,
Yeah.
And so many times people are there, whatever that there is. And you understand that everyone has their timing and their journey, and you have your timing as well. So I had to just learn about my timing and not be hasty, but still keep going, if that makes sense. Like a little balance. It's hard, but it's something that I have to keep remembering.
And I mean, but that's life. As you were saying before, that's the journey, right? You have to keep, you learn and you grow, you learn new things about your own self and your own life, and like how other people will react, how other people will react to you, and how they see you versus how you see yourself, right?
That too. And I used to beat myself up because I'm not there yet,
Yeah. I mean, who is
who
there yet, right?
hasn't,
Who is?
But it's just everyone has their definition of there. But I was beating myself up because I wasn't in my own definition there in life,
Yeah.
And it's like, it just made me step back and be like, oh my gosh, I came so late and I was on time. Like,
I feel
it
like
was,
that's the name
it
of your next that's the name of you have to name that something. Your next poem, your next book, something. I came so late but I was on time.
no, the
That
perfect
is
timing.
the perfect title. I wish I came up with that. That's so good. That's
Oh
ooh,
my
ooh,
gosh.
ooh, that's so good. Well, Safari, sadly we have to wrap up, but just I feel like I'm so excited to see where you go next, what you do next. Do you where do you think, life will take you next in terms of your writing or your art in that way?
That's a good question. Um, I'm living that out as we speak. And so where do
Art,
I want
right?
it to go though? Like where I so this is gonna be I most likely this is gonna be one of many books. I want to turn it
Mhm,
into an audiobook event. And like I would love to be a host. Like I know I sing because I'm also my poems have turned into songs. So I start writing songs
mhm,
with my voice. And I'm also taking acting classes. So I feel like I'm getting into entertainment.
mhm.
The route or how it's going to come together, I don't know. But it's just me right now developing my skills and just preparing.
No, I mean, and that's a lot. That's not easy work. That is not an easy thing to do. So, power to you there. And I can't wait to see what comes next from you. Thank you so much, Safari, for coming on. Listeners, you can go buy Safari's book at Skylight Books right now. Um,
Can you hear me?
Safari, yes, 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 of course. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Listeners, you can go get Safari Blake's book, Lord Expose Me, right now at Skylight Books. You can go order yourself a copy or come in the store and pick it up. It's a gorgeous book too to look at. I mean, looking at the cover, I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And I mean, it's beautiful both outside and inside. So, I mean, you will have a great time with it. Safari, thank you so much again. This has been so great to hear you talk. You're such a great talker. I mean, you're such a great storyteller too. You're fantastic
Question. I know this
storyteller.
is edited. Thank you. Thanks, Jen.
To our listeners, you have a great and beautiful rest of your day. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Skylight Books podcast series. Please don't forget to visit our website at skylightbooks.com and make sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for more author talks and bookseller conversations. You can find us on Podbean, iTunes, and Spotify. Stay safe and healthy, and we hope to see you back in our store soon.